Hi guys, and welcome to BigShadowsWorld. This is Big Shadow, and we are live with an airline management simulation. So not your normal game, not something that you would find every day. Certainly won't find it on Steam or any of those. But I'm going to have a look at a few airline management simulations or airline operations and just go through them. They're pretty cool. They do take a lot of time, and they can be very frustrating, particularly if they let you go broke, and that happens quite often. Okay, so this one is Airways Sim. Now this one, for example, is free for 7 days, but after that they want you to pay for it. So free for 7 days, and then they want you to pay. So give it a go for 7 days. Have a little look. There are a whole pile of these, and this is basically the industry that I'm in anyway. So I'm doing this for multiple purposes. So Airways Sim, there's a link in the Twitch below, and you get extra 10% credits if you do decide to buy some, and I get a few credits myself. So you know, it's only if you buy them, so I don't really, not really a worry. Okay, so let's have a little look. You go in there and you've got a whole pile of worlds. And the good thing is this starts back in the 50s. So if you want to start back in 1950, 1960, or different periods throughout history, you can do. And it starts off with the equipment that you have available at that time. So you can't just jump in and get a A380. It's just not going to happen. Doesn't work that way at all. You actually have to work your way through. So here's the main front screen, and we'll get in there and I'll give you a little looky. Right, open games, new games open up all the time. As I said, they start in different years and they go through till 2035 or sometimes longer. So just a little bit different. Righty-o. Yep, news tells you when new worlds are beginning and different scenarios. They also have freight, so let's get this underway. And like I said, this is not for everybody, but this is what I want to do. You've got different games going at the moment, and you can get further details. So the game that we're looking at is just a beginner's world, free trial. Like I said, 7 days for free, and then they want you to get credits. And credits are... 1 credit is a week. So effectively a week's play will cost you €53 or 85 cents. I think that's right. We'll check that anyway. Yep. So it's we'll have a look in a minute anyway. And again, discounted as you go up. So for a week's worth of entertainment, 85 cents a credit. That's not bad. Aussie that is, or 53. I don't know. Are they cents, euros? Well, I got no idea actually. That's an interesting question. Okay, so that's basically where we are. Let's just duck back again. Different worlds, game worlds. This one started in 1965 and goes through to 2035. This one here started 1950 and goes through to 2035. And then you got some short ones, 1998 to 2036 and 2015 to 2025. I do like these old ones, because when you start these, you're in little aircraft like Continentals, early 727s, just the early stuff. It's quite interesting. I can actually start up what I want to start up now too, which is, where are you there? So yeah, so we can actually get a few more things going on. Oh, I don't want you. I don't want this screen, I want you over there. Let's get this sorted. I want you. Okay. Sorted. Open the screen on the wrong one. Okay, so yeah, different worlds, different ways of doing things. and it all works along quite nicely. 1 credit a week, so like I said, 53.53 euros a week, and 5 credits to join. So, okay, we're on this one, and we need to work out what the hell's going on. Now, it does have a whole pile of things. It's got an airline overview, so you can look at your airline as a overview. Airline news, different things happen. Different companies come in, start up their airline, go broke, close them down, move bases. Like I said, this is basic simulation, but you are playing against a hell of a lot of people all around the world. And some of these guys, they're professionals. They do this for a living. They work in this industry. They know it very, very well. So don't expect to come first in this type of game. It is actually ranked. You can start a new world and get ranked all the way to the end. Has world news. For example, North America is currently suffering from a bird flu outbreak. So basically, passenger travel has dropped 20 to 25%, which is going to cost me a pretty penny because that's where I've got my base. Let's get rid of you. I don't need you in there, blocking up my screen. Okay. And different things will happen around the place. So the US, for example, bird flu outbreak. We have a fire which closed down an airport. Severe weather. Again, storms throughout the US caused delays. There's a funeral, a VIP funeral in Perth, Western Australia. Well, that's a bit sad. I didn't get invited. Famous singer. Oh God. Anyway, there's world events that cause delays, traffic jams, all kinds of stuff like that. LaGuardia taxiways closed due to a aircraft crash. So you can see that they've implemented a whole pile of things that are going to cause you issues. And airports that get closed around the world because they're no longer relevant or new ones opening. You can start to access some of these, or you'll get kicked out of it, quite frankly. If that airport closes and you're there, you need to move. Right, and aircraft. Yep, every aircraft you can think of is in the game. If it flies, it's available. Not in all games, I should rephrase that. Not in all games. But production does come to the end, the old Braz. Production's coming to the end. Reason being, not enough orders. So people in the game aren't ordering the aircraft. It will cease production as per normal. So if no one buys their aircraft, they will stop production. So if you want 747s and you keep buying them, they'll keep making them. If you don't want an aircraft, don't buy it. And if no one else buys it, then it will cease production, like the CASA C212 there. Nice little baby aircraft, that one. 12 people, I think, and about, well, if it's empty, it takes about a ton of cargo. We can have a look at every aircraft. In the current capacities, 95 kilos, 26 passengers. Man, they're crammed in. Turboprop engines. There's the cost for the checks, seating configuration, which we can change. We can put first class in that little baby. Not much good, is it? Yep, okay, so different aircraft as we duck around the place. But as I said, you need to order them. If you want to buy an aircraft brand new, you have to order it. If you don't order it, you won't get it. You can lease, of course, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So that's some of the things going on. Vista Air's just started a new airline. Now this is really important. If I'm at Mexico City, so if they were to open up in Mexico City, I've got competition. So you keep an eye on what's happening around the world. Like I said, the Braz production's coming to an end. What a shame. And airline news, it tells you about new maps starting up or new games starting up, and introduction of cargo, a regional challenge where you can only fly within regional airlines, no overseas, no long haul internationals. And here was the winners of this particular game, and you can see straight up they did pretty well. Airline ran here. These guys were basically on when it started, and the game ran for the equivalent of 60 years. A day is around about 25 to 30 minutes. so you can understand that these guys were on that for a long time. It does last a long time. Busiest airport, Heathrow, as you would expect. Atlanta, well, that's interesting. Yeah, so they're the busiest airports in that game, and there was alliances formed. I think I'm still a member of one of these alliances from about 5 years ago. Anyway, we'll have a little look. Most airports served, largest fleet, 1,567 aircraft. So really, to get onto this game, you really want to start right at the beginning, apart from learning how to play. And World 1, new settings and cargo. Anyway, let's have a little look. Back we go. Time converter, you can work out exactly what time an event will happen in game and real life. So for example, I just got mail, I'm going to lose a slot. We'll talk about that later. Don't care. Back we go. So you can actually work out what time in game would be what time in real life for where you are. So if you're really that keen and you've got an aircraft being delivered and you want to schedule it the moment it gets there, or a check coming up from the aircraft where you need to pull it offline, then you can have that let you know exactly when it's going to be. So it's not too bad. There is a hell of a lot of work in this game. Settings, the first thing you could always do, of course, is when you go in, is to set up your own airline. Aussie Air, that's me, code AX. Logo I can't find, but I've got my own livery. So there's AirX Airlines, that's my colours. Red and silver, and that's my little airline. Description, haven't put one down. Bit of a spelling error, but that's normal. And let's change that to skies. And you can go through and do all your settings so that it notifies you, all those. You can do staff settings, you can have them so that you employ people, or you sack them, or they get hired automatically and get their pay rises automatically. If you turn all these off, you're responsible for the staff as well. So if you don't employ staff, you're going to have delays on your aircraft, your reputation will go down the tube. So it's all interactive. Aircraft settings, you can set the automatic turnaround times to help you planning, and registration for your aircraft depends on which country you're in, and you can have them automatically renew leases and all kinds of stuff. So heaps of stuff around the place. It's all pretty cool. Mentors, people there to help you play the game, changing game worlds, buying credits, reserving a name for a future, and then you have your normal office. So we get into a little bit of office, and you can see here my pre-tax profits as we've gone around. I started in week 18, it's now week 25, and bam, down to a loss of $3.5 million. Which has got to be expected, considering I've just entered the industry and I've just purchased or leased my first aircraft. They're not going to give you an aircraft if you don't give them money. So we had to give them 6 weeks lease payments, or 6 months, 6 weeks I think. Anyway, so we paid off at least. The aircraft haven't even flown yet. They started flying in there about week 19. And we've got some more aircraft on order. About a 747 came on order, and then we had the profits started to come up, and then we had the bird flu. So basically we got hammered straight away with a reduced passenger capacity because of the bird flu. Company image, as I started there, slowly increased, and it's slowly increasing over time. I can improve that with newer aircraft, bit of advertising, being punctual on my routes and all those, and slowly build my way up. Passengers, here's my passenger transports per week, and I'm carrying about 12 to 13,000 passengers. Cargo's on the rise as well, up to about 120 tons, so that's not too bad. Fuel prices, oh man, fuel prices also come into this game. And you can actually hedge your fuel prices. You can bet to see whether they're going to go up or down, and you can purchase it at any time and say, well, I believe it's going to go up, so I'll buy it here and fix it. Or you can wait for it to come down and hope that it comes down, and you can hedge it for a period of time. Once you get big enough, you can also talk to these contractors and say, hey dude, give me a good price, I'll buy all my fuel from you, and they'll lock it in at a discount and a monthly fee. Now, in order to meet that monthly fee, you certainly got to have some aircraft, because basically 407,000 per month to save 7%. Man, I'm going to have to be turning over a hell of a lot of fuel. Yeah, I won't do the maths, it's too hard. But you can do the maths on that and you'll find out how much fuel you have to buy before your 7% actually meets the monthly fee. So pretty tough. But yeah, you need to have some aircraft flying before you can take advantage of this. And that's cheap. The bigger you get, the more they start to screw you. So you want to lock them in before you get a big influx of aircraft. Other things we need to do, we've got messages come through. There's no messages at the moment. We have income statements. And you can see I've only got $100,000 left in my account. And over time, these are the tickets I've sold. This is only, what are we, Tuesday, so we've only the second day in. This is my revenue this week, my expenses this week, but we need to look before, because this is what's happened in the last week and the week before. So $2.8 million in total operating revenue, and out the door we've kicked 4.5 million. So we've made a loss of 1.6 million. Plus a few odds and sods, the bank's interest, etc. So it is pretty tough. Aircraft leases, $1 million, and I'm paying $1 million a week for my leasing of my aircraft, and one of those is a 747. So as you can imagine, it's a pretty expensive little beast. Until it starts making a profit, it's draining my revenue. They're charged at the end of the week, hence why it's only 144 at the moment. By the end of the week, when it comes around to the correct day, that will actually jump up. So it looks good at the moment, but I know it's going to be $1 million. Losses this year, 11 million. And you can look at it different ways as you go. All the different things, my fuel costs, how much I spent on fuel. That's all very relevant when you start negotiating to get your discounted fuel. So if you get your discounted fuel, you can say, well, I spend, where is it, monthly? Sorry, mouse stuck. Let's have a look at the monthly. We're not quite through June yet, so we only got a half a month. Oh, we've got 2 half months. I haven't got any figures to work on there. Let's just say we've got about $3 million worth of fuel, and if we get a 10% discount, that's 300,000. And those fees were 470, so it's a long way before we can start negotiating and getting a good price. Balance sheets, also does your balance sheets, so you know what your current assets are, current liabilities, shareholders' equity, and going backwards. So my shareholders won't be very happy, because their $12 million is now worth just under 9 million. But that's fine, we expect that. That's why they give us the money to get the equipment in the first place. What else we got? Cash flow. We can break this down into cash flow and making little adjustments there. Won't go into that one, that's boring. Personnel office. We even get to pay and give each other pay rises if we want to. That's what I want to do actually. Just bear with me 1 second. Just want to make that a little bit bigger. I had this before and okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so you got your personnel there. You can go through again, and you have all your administration staff, your pilots, your cabin crew, your ground handlers, technical service officers, maintenance engineers, safety, security, quality, human resources, economics and finance. My wages bill, $1.9 million per month, US. Man, oh man, oh man. That is sucking me dry. And look, you can see it's not all pilots. Pilots account for a very small amount of that. Cabin crew are more expensive in this game. And yeah, basically customer service is cheaper, but yeah, there's a lot of cabin crew required on these aircraft. Okay, and you can give them pay rises, you can sack them, you can give them bonuses, all kinds of stuff to encourage them to get their morale up, to make more wise decisions and get the aircraft turning around on time. Loans, I need one of these. My credit rating's pretty crap though. I've got a CCC credit rating, low medium class rating, high risk. I'm high risk. Current loans, 4.8 million, which you start the game with, and then of course I'm paying 20,000 US dollars a week, interest and fees. I can borrow, if I had assets, 14 million. I have 0 assets. I can't borrow a cent. I need to get this up. I really, really do. But it takes time. Just got to struggle through. Marketing. No one knows about me, so I've got a couple of advertising campaigns. Can be very expensive. I'm spending 153,000 a week on advertising in my base country, and I have some advertising for Los Angeles, Mexico, and well, wait a second. That's not supposed to be. That's supposed to be New York. Oh dear. I need New York. Route specific. We're going from New York to Mexico. That's why people weren't getting on my aircraft. Let's give it 5 months worth. 95 grand a week. Oh my god. I got to do that. And Los Angeles, you're gone. Gonna cost me money to cancel it, but I can't afford to keep it running. So half a week's cost to have that. Okay, so now we have advertising to JFK, which is what I really need because I'm running a 747 there with no passengers. It's very expensive. So that's the marketing. That gets your image up, and I'm going to cancel you for the moment. Okay. Let's just put you in as purely worldwide, internet only. Hopefully it's not too much. Yep, I can afford that. So we just got an internet-based advertising at the moment. Okay. Base airports, marketing, company image. Your image is everything. You don't get to be Qantas or American Airlines or British Airways or Singapore or Emirates with such a well-known name without good corporate image and good marketing. And it takes time to build that up, and that's your advertising and your aircraft. Even the routes you fly, just because you fly there and just because you're Qantas or whoever you want to be, doesn't mean you've got a good reputation on that route. You haven't proven yourself. You have to get that all proved up. And you can see now my reputation on the Los Angeles to Mexico line is pretty high. And that was a result of that advertising and flying there regular, no cancellations, stuff like that. It's this baby down here that I want to get high. This one is the one that's going to make or break me. And we have the passengers, we have the supply. There's a bird flu, so 280 people want to fly. I got seats for 358. So we can actually determine how many seats to put on a trip, and there's a bit of freight, which is not too bad. I'm the only one that flies the route, which is a bonus. So if I'm the only one flying the route, then I have no competition. Once those reputation gets up, those capacity gets filled, I can start to sneak the price up and start to gouge my little victims. It's not nice, is it? Anyway, let's get back up here. So that's all the routes I've got flying, and the airports gave us a discount to come in there. When you start the game, your main airport will give you a fairly good hefty discount, and some of your first destinations will also give you a discount. So Los Angeles, I got a 90% discount there, pretty cool. LA, yep, 90%. Mexico, it's a cheap airport anyway. Atlanta, and as you get further and further into the game, more airports you fly to, they start going, stuff you buddy, I'm not giving you a discount, you pay full price. Okay, fuel management, we had a quick look at that, and we can have a look at our transported passengers. We haven't even got there yet, we haven't even got a aircraft flying. So here's my transported passengers. On the rise, no first class, because there are no first class passengers in this particular version, which is a shame because I accidentally put first class seats on my 747. Never mind, a couple of cabins actually, private cabins. Cargo, light cargo, medium cargo, heavy I can't carry, I have no freighters. But that's on a rise, which is good. Good. Got to make the money somehow. Okay, let's get out of here and have a look at my aircraft. I have one aircraft generating a profit, 456,000, and I have 4 aircraft generating a loss. Okay, so we have to fix up these aircraft as quick as possible. Takes time though, you just can't automatically fix something. It's going to take a while. So here's my 747, and it's a 747-400 D model, which is short range, high density aircraft. I have it configured with 344 economy, 10 business, and 4 first class. My range on this aircraft is reduced down to 2,370 nautical miles, so it's not your normal 747. And cargo, I can still carry 26 tons of cargo, provided the densities, the cubics is okay as well. Takes 2 pilots and 14 crew. Takes a runway of 2,260 meters. If the runway is below that, I can't get in. Or if I do, I have to drop off my load, so I have to go in light and go out light. Chances are, based on the size of the aircraft, I won't get in many places, and there's noise restrictions as well. This is a chapter 4. So chapter 4 is the quietest and level 1 is the noisiest. The 727, for example, was a chapter 2. Noisy, can't fly in the world anymore. Hey Stoney, how you going, bud? I'm just going through a little bit of airline sim because my internet's very slow, so it's not working very well on farming. I'm getting a bit laggy, so I had a few things to clear off on my internet, so I'm just in here. It is harvest time in farming sim. However, the hay was wet, so I have to move it forward a little bit to let it dry out. Sorry, the crops are wet, so we can't harvest until they dry out in the middle of the day. Maintenance, got to do maintenance on my aircraft. This is the history of it. I got major checks coming up in 6 months and a big D check in 5.9 years. A C check takes the aircraft offline for 20 days, a D check takes it off for 80 days. A C check's going to cost me 1.5 mil and a D check is going to cost me 8.4 mil. So you've got to really start putting your money away to make sure you've got enough. I lease my aircraft at the moment, and right before that I'm going to give it back to the owner and say I don't want it, because there's no way in the world I'm going to pay $8 million to have the aircraft refurbished and fly it for a year or so, because by then it will be 15 years old, a little bit old. Fuel burn on this aircraft, pretty high, 8.7 tons per hour, which is a pretty high fuel burn, but again, it's based on the load. Condition, constructed, flight time, type of engines. This is all very important stuff, because if I try to run different types of engines, a whole fleet of different aircraft, it will cost me a fortune. Profit yesterday, lost 58 grand, 59 grand. This week I'm down to 122,000, and last week I lost 500,000. In the air 13.6 hours a day, which most people say that's not a lot, but it takes 110 minutes minimum to turn the aircraft around. Oh, you're doing potatoes? Yeah, I was going to do that, and I thought, oh, I'll wait for you. You notice I put some of the money, I closed out those two other ones. Yeah, it's a big job. I'll come and give you a hand in a little while. Yeah, it's certainly a big job. We've got to take the tops off before we can harvest the potatoes. Yes. Okay, so as you can see from that aircraft, there's certainly lots to do with picking aircraft. So my fleet at the moment is 737-900s and 737-900 extended range. Basically they're a slightly different configuration, same speeds, however it can actually go a further distance. Okay, so this extended range will get an extra 500 nautical mile, taking it out to 3,490 nautical mile, and I can look at the range map and it tells me everywhere I can fly in with that aircraft. So you can see that will fully service Canada and Alaska, well, most of Alaska, all of North America is fine, and it will get me down into South America as well. My main aim for this is to make sure I can carry full loads everywhere I go. So 3490 is nominal range. I can extend the range by reducing the load. Sony, did you lease the equipment? I was actually thinking of doing what we did before. There's the assigned routes that it's flying. Now these are basically the same, but they're individual routes, so I can put them on different aircraft if need be. Most other times they're all linked up. Some of these routes, this is my average passenger carrying. So the load factor on this one, 27.9%. So I'm only getting 27. Oh, you talked about this. Yes, it is a lot more full on. It's not your normal one. There is another one, or there's quite a few actually, and I'll have a look at the other ones a little bit later. This is the toughest one. The other ones are fairly straightforward and simple. Yeah, this is the hardest one. Always start with the hardest and then find the easiest one. Now, yeah, this one here, load factor 27.9%. Oh, I bet you this one goes out in the middle of the night. Yep, goes out at 8:30 p.m. and the second departure is at 23:20. Surprisingly, people don't like getting on an aircraft at 23:20. If that was earlier, say anywhere between 6 and 10 p.m, people have no problem. But in the game, a midnight flight, nobody likes it. So the best way to cure that is to make it nice and effective. Give them a discount, encourage them to get on, and let's give them a good discount. There's no one sitting in the first class. Let's encourage them a little bit. I want to encourage you too. Now sometimes you could look at the load factor and say, well, 26% at 187, or lower it and get 35% at a lower price. They might cancel each other out. So there's a whole pile of things. There's my cargoes, what I can carry, and the price I charge. Basically it tells me what I've picked up. I carried 260 of a possible 1100 kilos. But like I said, my reputation is not the best at the moment. I'm a newbie on the block, and I'm in a debt there. Look at that. Okay, chances are I'll go broke before this game's out. What are we doing? Aircraft. I can buy, well, there's all my aircraft coming up. They're all leased, and how much I pay per month for the lease. I can go into all this and find out all the details. Who's the owner? 17K's brought the small tractor attachment, did 3 laps around, then sold them back to lease the big one. Yep, okay. There is extra cash there in your account as well. I moved it out of the 2 other farms, put 400Ks in the main contractors that we can use, and I think 80 into each of ours. So yep, so daily profits, daily losses, you can actually start to see what's going on. Average load factor, this is for the whole aircraft, not just for the route. So this one's doing the best. It's got an average load factor of 70.6, but it's made a weekly loss there. This one hasn't got a full load, but it's making more money. So you can always have a look exactly what's going on. And there's the routes. A lot of information? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So you can look through and manage all the routes. This is from Mexico to LAX, and that's doing okay. We're getting capacity. We can check, have a little look at the actual airport we're going to. There are 623 people on a Tuesday want to fly. Because of that bird flu, it's 575. There are 968 seats. So we're fighting for the seats. I've only got 180 seats. Someone else is supplying the rest of those seats, 700 and something. So I've got competition, Viva Air and American Vines. They are coming out of Los Angeles flying to Mexico, and I am coming out of Mexico flying to Los Angeles. Once I get some money, I will reverse that situation, because I'll take this little 737 out and put a 747 on there and go straight for half that capacity. That will force them to reduce theirs, and I will be running more economical. So there's a bit of tactics involved as well. It's a fair bit of tactics basically. We've got to make sure that we make a profit and then increase our market share. Cargo, 20% for me, and you can see 46 and 33. They will be winning on this guy here because he's been around longer. This one must be working on prices. I can go in and change, get stuck in there, and go for a little bit of a tactic. Drop my price of freight. I can do it this way. I can do it up here. I can decrease it by cargo, passengers, just economy, first class. Light cargo. Let's drop the light oh no, let's drop the heavy cargo. No, light cargo, because that takes up space. Yes, we want standard cargo. Drop that by 5%, and that should hopefully improve our share. Okay, so as you can see, there is a fair bit in it. Buy a new aircraft. There's every single aircraft you can think of. Well, most of them. Even on some games you can get the old Concorde. Not this one. It's outside the range of what I want to go for. I've told them I'm doing a medium haul, not long haul. and again it is 2012. No Concorde flying. So depending on when you start, and you can go through, these are all brand new aircraft and the different configurations of the Airbus. So you can have it in different configurations. You can order it. This has got deliveries for March. So these ones, you're not going to get the aircraft for 3 to 4 years from when you order it. And the price, which you have to pay. You do. The old Antonov, ATRs, Boeing, 787s, 3, 8, 9. Now remember, if it's not out yet, then you may be able to order it. However, your delivery won't be until such time as it actually does start coming out. Deliveries for the Embraer 195 commencing March 2019. So you can even purchase it off the plan while they still haven't been made. And yeah, there's a hell of a lot. Being a El Cheapo, I can only afford second-hand aircraft. There's 677 new aircraft being added. So being a Boeing man, I'll duck down to my 737s, have a little look. And we have 737-600s, 800s, 700s and 800s and 900s, all in that group because they are similar. And you want to keep in similar fleet groups because it costs you a fortune otherwise. I'll show you that in a second. Based on the age, let's just put them into age. From 5 years through to however long it is. Every aircraft you've got to check to make sure you get the same type of engines. If you have different engines, it can cause you a problem. And there's the price to buy it. That's 80%. That's pretty poor. 92%. Let's just go have a look. We want aircraft under 10 and we want them to be over 80%. Yep, let's have a little look. And we want 900s. Let's make it easier. So we can do all kinds of things. We can search it up. We can find our aircraft. If you like aircraft and you want to learn some facts about them, you can actually just go into this system, go into the new aircraft actually, and it will give you the background on the aircraft, and it will also tell you the different engines. We can compare the 737 to the A3. Let's go to the A330. And they'll compare them side by side. So what's the difference between a 737-900, A330? Well, they're completely different sizes for a start. The A330 is a very large aircraft. Speeds, 737's 0.78 speed of sound, and the A330's Mach 0.82. Okay, and you convert that into a true airspeed, so you can see the Airbus is a lot faster. Does need more runway. It takes 90 minutes to turn it around. 737 can get out the door in 40 minutes from after it lands. That means more time in the air. More time in the air means more passengers carried, which should mean more money. 2 pilots, 4 cabin crew, 2 pilots, 9 cabin crew. 180 seat is the 180 economy is a default setting. So if you order that, it will come with that 180 seats unless you tell it otherwise. The A330 will come with 252 economy, 20 business and 8 first class. Only carries 2,700 kilos, whereas the A330 carries 1,700 kilos of cargo as well. Production date. Okay, you can view the aircraft information. Oh, I didn't want to go there. I want to go back. Different engines. So if you look at the different engines, the CFM International is what's on the 737-900, and there are 2 different configurations, and there's your fuel burn. And this one you can select between General Electric, Pratt & Whitney, or the Rolls-Royce Trent 700s. So you get to choose the configuration and the engines based on what you want to do. Range will be affected accordingly, but it's not significant. basically this is the key, fuel burn. You can work out what you want. Now, payload is very important. You set it up the way you want. Do I want to carry weights, etc, etc. Production slots. If I was to order these, the aircraft, those ones are in design, they're in production. These are all the orders. The red ones are orders, and I won't get any production until, ooh, they might get me in some of these, but I can expect to find a massive delay in production. And these are the guys that have ordered them. Australian Airways, good on you bud, you've ordered 10. So you can compare off new aircraft. Used aircraft, as I said, you can lease them, buy them, do what you like with them. If you lease them, let's go back to the Boeings. I can't afford to lease one anyway, but we'll have a little look. We'll stay under 10. We want over 80%, and I'm particularly interested in the engine type, but that will do for the moment anyway. I'm not buying it. 700, 90%er, 95, 6 years old, $88 million to buy. And this one down here, 79, based on their condition and their age. We can have a little look at a lease cost. The longer I lease it, the cheaper it is. They do your deal. Yeah, lease, right. This one's C-check in 8 months, which means it's going to be off the road for 20 days, 14 days in 8 months time, so I'll cover that. If that was the C-check in a month, it would be pointless getting it. It's going to be off the line. You'd order it, get the C-check done straight away. It would be 2 weeks delivery and another 14 days to get the check, which will carry it through for 12 months. 7 years D-check, so I would never lease anything longer than 7 years in that particular case. As I said, I'm not paying $2 million for that check. I'll give it back and get a new one. And $950,000 a month. I'm going to have to pay. Ooh, wicked. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. That's really cool. It's very hard for me to see actually. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Just having a little look at one of the airline management sims that are around the place. So this particular lease, for example, $950. If I get it for a short period of time, they're going to charge me a hell of a lot more. It's going to cost me $1 million, and I've got to pay 4 months. Yep, it is 4 months. 4 months lease up front, no matter what I get. So 4 months lease up front, and then I don't pay lease payments for 4 months. So got to have money to lease it to start with. Configure it the way you want. You can change the configuration. You can go in and say, I want this aircraft to be. Let's have a look. Let's do a configuration for the 900. Let's just go straight domestic. No first class seats. Let's just go straight standard business seats. Let's put in 5, and then we could go high density, which will give us 184 seats, but people get pretty peeved at that. So standard economy, 174 seats. Straight up, we've got 179 passengers. It's going to cost me $850,000 just to change the seats on this aircraft, and the aircraft will be on the ground for probably 3 days. 3 days on the ground, not doing its job. So passengers will be really pissed off the fact that their flights on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, for example, there's no aircraft to fly it. Passenger comfort, fair, so I certainly wouldn't do that on a long haul. Yeah, I can't help myself. I like comfort. I still want that. Drops it to 130 passengers though. Nah, stuff them. I'll give them a discount. I'll jam them in. So the more first class business you have, the less economy, of course. Also, however, this freight carrying capacity, I can actually increase that, I'm pretty sure, by reducing the actual amount of seats. So I can now carry more passengers on this flight. So I can change it around so that it actually changes the cargo configuration. So I can fly into a place, if there's plenty of cargo coming out of it, if I configure the aircraft correctly, I can carry passengers and cargo. So we can get away with a fair bit of good stuff. Cargo is not a major thing in this one. I'd rather have bums on seats for the moment. We'll get a different configuration later. Geez, they're not going to be happy though. Are they happy if I don't cram them as much? Oh, look at that. So they're happy with more legroom. So they've got the standard economy. They are happy because I gave them more legroom. Let's see what they are happy with. Yep. Extra 2 rows of seats taken out, and they're happy. And I can add that configuration. I can configure this aircraft now, and it's going to cost me $790,000 extra dollars just to get it delivered the way I want. I can get it to do the checks before they get here. I can even give it a call sign, and I would call this one whatever I like, big, or I normally go AAB, AAC, because I'm not very clever. Actually I do it just slightly different. I have LRA, LRB, LR for long range, SR, short range, all those kind of things. Anyway, I can't afford it anyway because I'm 44,000 down the tube. So configure an aircraft. You can set it up any way you choose. Best to go through and do all these configurations. I've got a medium US haul, 100 premium seats and 6 premium first business, 2 first class. Totally useless. It's on one aircraft that needs to go. Standard configuration, 2 aircraft with a standard. Yeah, I need to look at those a little bit later. This part is going to ruin your day. Your fleets, if you start using multiple fleets, for example, I have Boeing 737s and 747s. Each lot costs me a fortune in maintenance. I have to have engineers that can work on them. I've got to have crew that can fly them. Administration costs for aircraft is huge, and purely by adding 1 extra different aircraft to my fleet, it costs me $1 million more per month. So running the 747 in conjunction with any other aircraft will cost you an extra $1 million. So you can go broke pretty quick. However, my plan is 2 fleets only, 737s and 747s. Different engines. Running just the aircraft with the CFM, it's going to cost me $166,000 a month. I have 1 lot of aircraft which are General Electric, which were CFM actually. General Electric, they're part of the same organisation. However, the 747, I have to pay for those different engines as well. So you can absolutely ruin your day just by going and adding different aircraft. Never do it. Important safety tip there, don't mix your aircraft. Aircraft on order. Insurance. Man, you've got to pay your insurance. If you lease an aircraft, it's automatically going to be insured for 90%. It cost me $1 million a month just for insurance. If I owned it, I could insure it for nothing. I could not worry about covering it. But because I don't own it, the lease company wants it insured. It cost me $1 million. The more aircraft you have, the more it costs you. But when you own them, you can decide, you 50-50, I'll insure it, I won't insure it. If an accident happens, and they do, if an accident happens, I'll wear the loss. Yeah, so lots of things to consider. Aircraft information. You can search up all the aircraft in the game and go through what's in service, what's on sale, what's been scrapped, how many were produced in the game, etc, etc. All kinds of stuff. You can have a little look around, see who owned it, see who leases it, just a bit of extra stuff, and compare aircraft. We all like doing that. We can get in there and compare all the different aircraft, so you can go, what's the difference between 300 and a 300R, just the Airbus. There's a difference, and basically we are looking at the R requires an extra 10 meters, cruise the same, turnaround times the same, passengers are the same, less cargo, differences are we have different engine types, and you can see the R we're going to get a greater range. We also have payload, slightly less payload, and we have a greater maximum takeoff weight. Fuel burn, less, I like that. These new engines gave us a lesser fuel burn and a greater range. So, all good. So you can actually start to compare up aircraft just for fun. Production shot slots. Now here's the important bit, the routes. How do we get our route? Okay, this is what my revenue is, and you can see there's a massive drop there on a Sunday. It's a couple of the aircraft on the Sunday we have maintenance, and it goes in for maintenance, and we possibly lose a route. So if it goes for a B check, then it will lose a day, and basically every 4 weeks the aircraft goes in for a B check. So we'll actually lose revenue on that day, and it's accepted by the passengers. So it's all scheduled so that it doesn't fly on that day. You can see ticket revenue's up, so my ticket revenue's up 4%. My cargo revenue's up 9.1. This is looking better. Total expenses are up 3.1%. Oh god. And my fuel costs have also gone up 3.7%. So, we're not quite getting there. My load factors in economy has dropped back down, and there's a reason for that. If you remember, we were at, you weren't here, but 60%, and we've got that bird flu. So we still have a bird flu throughout the United States. So people aren't flying, they're not going out, they're not going to airports, there's a travel ban, all that kind of stuff at this moment, and it's affected my passengers. Business class, slowly, again, bird flu, they don't want to travel. However, I am slowly building up the numbers, and that's for a week. So we're slowly working up the numbers despite the fact there's a bird flu. No first class passengers. There are no first class passengers in this particular world. Worse luck. As I said before, I configured my aircraft for first class without looking. Cargo. My cargo's up. Excellent. Slowly getting into the market there. And my standard cargo's up 10% as well. So slowly getting in and building up a reputation. I can look at the most profitable routes, the least profitable, I don't want to look at those. Any routes not being flown, the highest load factors, the lowest load factor, and any cancellations as well. Flights get cancelled, makes me angry, but no delays on this one. This one had traffic restrictions for 91% of the time. So that might have something to do with getting in and out of Houston Airport. It's only 2.8 minute delay, but it's significant. And that was basically the first lot of delays was for a lack of staff. So the aircraft came before the staff were employed. So there was no one there to work the actual system, and we had some delays. That resulted in 100%, well, 100% of the reasons flights were cancelled were due to a late departure. One aircraft went down with a technical problem. Aircraft with a technical problem. No weather so far, which is good. A whole pile of things. But you can see there are an average delay on the route, which means we tweak them later to see how we can spread these flights out, give it an extra few minutes between arrival and departure so that these delays get reduced. Average delay 25 minutes, that sucks. Where are we going? Can. Oh, that's 747. That's got plenty of time. Yeah, that's got plenty of time. We can have a look at that. Let's have a little look at that flight and see what's going on. So my flight time departure is 2110 local time. Arriving local time 2330. Now this works in UTC because we fly around the world. We use universal time coordinates, not just a local time, because the local time is different everywhere in the world, and you guys all know that. So it tells you your UTC as well as your arrival in UTC. Turnaround time, minimum turnaround's 110 minutes. I've given it 150. So that's reduced it down to 14.1% chance of a delay due to that turnaround. To reduce that completely, you're looking at around about 180 minutes, 3 hours of an aircraft sitting on the ground. It's not economical. Then it departs at 2 a.m. and comes back and arrives back here local time 4:15. Okay, here is the problem. People don't like flying at 2:15 a.m. They don't like it. It's not happy with it. Let's give them a discount and say, get on board this aircraft at 2:15 a.m. and it will be the cheapest flight you can get in the system. So we can do that, but that's not going to fix the delay. But again, it just made sure that we can get some more people on that seat. I make $11,000 going out, but I lose $12,000 coming back. Is it worth the flight? No, but it will be, because we're only at 46%. If I can get this economy up to about 15, 20, then we'll start to make a little bit of a profit. Where were we? Flight delays. Hate it. Manage routes, scheduling, open new routes. Okay, so we'll go back to the routes here. So we can look at all this info and work out what's going on, look for trends. Do you think this game takes time? Hell yeah. We can manage all the routes, have a little look at them, and we can sort them into any order we like by destination. So here we are, Mexico City to Los Angeles, and we've got all our load capacities with our profits per flight. That's profits per flight. Doesn't take into account the cost of the aircraft. So that's all going to come off at the end. My revenues, if you know anything about airline management, you'll understand all these yields. Cents per kilometre, and then per seat per kilometre, etc. That's the recovery revenue rates. Load factors, economy, and then our freight. This aircraft here only runs economy seats, 180 of them. So we're getting quite a good number on there. Once that gets up to the 85, 90, it's really, really good. And we're getting some cargo, so that's pretty cool. Not much, but we'll get there slowly. On the way out, that's what it is. On the way back, it's a little bit less. Average for both trips. Right down to, here we go, JFK is still losing money. However, we will get there over time. All I need is time. Cancun is basically losing money, but it's now only down to a $1,300 per flight, and there's quite a few flights. That's the number of routes, that's not the number of flights. A route can be established as once every day, or you can have it 7 different routes still being one a day. So basically we've got this set at 6 different days. Same number, same flight number, same times. However, I have them so I can spread them between different aircraft as necessary. There is another flight somewhere going to come in on the Saturday, but I haven't got an aircraft to put it on. So some flights are making a little bit of money, and some are yet to. We'll get there. Well, if we don't go broke, we'll get there. It tells you when something's wrong. For example, this is the route to Monterrey, Mexico City to Monterrey. There's a slot available. I've purchased it. I haven't got an aircraft to put to schedule it. So it exists, but it's not scheduled. I'm not really fussed about that. I can actually close. Oh no, I won't do that. I'll let it just expire. Don't want to accidentally close some of the other ones. How do I set up a route? Let's have a look at the route planning. So first of all, this is my base. I'm in Mexico. Where do we want to go? We want to go North America, or do we want to go anywhere in the world? So we can choose worldwide. We can go Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, and South America. Let's have a look, see if we can get to Australia. Australia, mate. Let's go Australia. We want a significant airport, so infrastructure, and that will do me for the moment, and we'll have a little search. Sydney, 7,005 nautical miles. There's a curfew. Brisbane's closer. Perth, 8,774 nautical mile. Let's go to Brisbane, and we can have a look and see what demand it is from Mexico. Wow, there's 130, a demand for 130 people only. 100 down to 115, 150. So really, to go down there, a bit of cargo. No, stuff all. To go down there would not be economical. I'd have to get an aircraft that could fly that distance, 6,849 mile, as well as carry the passengers, carry the freight, and make a profit. Melbourne, probably more. Sydney would be more like it. Nothing. Wow, that's incredible. Melbourne. Yep. That one there would be reasonably close. Potential 2,000. You could probably do that in a 7.4, or you'd have to find an aircraft to do it. 200. We want to carry 230 passengers. Where did we say? Melbourne. $230 passengers to Melbourne. So you'd find an aircraft that will do it, and if it's economical, if it matches in with your fleet, then you could actually do it. How do we set up a route? Well, first of all, we go in, we pick an airport, so we'll go back, we'll find one close. Let's stay in North America at the moment. Let's go all countries there. Let's go out to 2,000 miles. We'll keep it fairly long. Let's say 1,500 out to 2,000. Decent airport. Let's have a little look. JFK we already fly to, and we can look at the conditions there. 359. Current demand's 262. There's 358. So the aircraft I've got going there will actually do the job, just that no one's flying yet. So I can go to Newark, I can go to San Juan, Toronto, Pearson Airport in Toronto. Someone's flying to Mexico. Air Canada and Suez Air are flying from Pearson's Airport in Toronto to Mexico City. So I've got competition on that route. So I could do it. Pick your airport and away we go. Let's just go and make a change. Let's go South America. Distance, don't care. Size of the airport, I do care. Let's go there. Okay, so there's a few little locations down in South America we can make. And there's passengers, or there's aircraft. El Dorado Air is coming up to Mexico City. There's airlines all over the place. So you can see there's a fair bit of competition on some of these routes. Bogota, we can do some drug running, and there's already someone doing it. El Dorado. We may have to extend the distance. Or we change the airport classification. Let's change the airport classification. Obviously I think the airports aren't as got the best infrastructure. So if I change the infrastructure, nope. Let's go less than, no, we want more than 3. Okay, see what happens. Okay, so opened up a few more, and it doesn't have the same infrastructure, so basically you won't get as many flights in or out. Runway, the distance is fine. Our issue will come about, let's go to Lima, have a little look. Our issues will come about with runway length, and I'll have a look at that in a second. 3,507 meters, that's fine, it's concrete. 22 departures an hour, it's open 24 hours a day. Peru, South America, so there it is there. They're going to charge us $1,200 for landing the 737, and also passenger fees, $18 per domestic passenger, $23 for every international passenger, which we have to collect off and pay to them. And there are a few airlines operating through there, but there is no one based there. So it would be very unlikely that they are flying from there to Mexico City. In fact, absolutely none. International long haul, 40% of their passengers, 18% international, and 42% domestic. Okay, and time goes by, and it's only Friday. Like 25 minutes per day in this particular game, so you do have plenty of time to set it up and then wander off and come back another day. I am going to flight delays, airport information, and manual. Before you even start the game, suggest you pop in, have a little look at the manual, concepts, the rules, how to get started. There is an easy start as well as an advanced start. How to deal with the aircraft, storing them, scrapping them, converting an aircraft. If I want my aircraft to be converted into a freighter, how do I go about it? So what we want to do there, you can currently convert aircraft only one by one from my aircraft page on each aircraft. If the conversion's available, you'll see an aircraft conversion link in the Manage Aircraft section. So we can actually have a look at that. Conversions can only be performed on your own aircraft. You can't modify a leased one, because the guy leasing to you will get peeved. Don't see the little drop downs. Sorry, Sonny. I'll keep an eye on that. Anyways, just to give people an idea of the different types out there. Fuel management, loans, staff, accounting, goes through the whole lot. Really, if you're studying management or aviation in any way, this is an ideal read. All the things you have to put up with just to get going, let alone make a profit. Just different fleets. It goes for motor vehicles as well. If you're trying to run different vehicles, you've got maintenance problems, you've got different size tyres, you got stock problems, you got everything. Aircraft the same, different mechanics for different aircraft. Cross training is okay, but if you've got an engineering crew, then if they're spending 20 to 30 days on an aircraft doing a D check, they're not available to do your other jobs, that's for sure. Okay, so let's have a little look. Let's see if we can plan a route. We've got to go somewhere. We've got to go from Mexico. We'll go to North America. Let's have a look at all airports that come up in North America. Now Mexico does form part of North America. We can view it by distance. We can go specific. And here's a few in Mexico. Curfews. These airports are closed between certain times, so you can't fly in and out at those times. If you try to fly, well, it just rejects it. Basically, noise abatement. You just can't fly anywhere you like. Sydney has the same issue, noise abatement. Different countries just have to abide by noise abatement rules. Heathrow, I think Heathrow still has noise abatement. I can't recall. I can check it. The information on this is pretty accurate. So I can look at all the different airports around the place. I can do it by a map. I think we'll have a look up in Waco, Midland, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. Every airport's on there, just some of them are not suitable. El Paso. Let's have a look at El Paso, see what's there. Nobody wants to go there. Okay, that tells you a lot. Tulsa. Oh, everybody loves to gamble. Let's go. Cayman Islands. Fort Lauderdale. That's famous. Let's see who wants. A few people. Small aircraft. It's only going to take 88. Maximum potential there is 100. 650 kilos of freight. That's really a smaller aircraft. That's not a 737 job. That's probably sending out a 67 seat -8 or something turboprop. Still 1100 miles, so it's a fair distance. 2000 kilometers. 500, 2-hour flight. 2 hours. They can do that in a turboprop. That's not bad. I don't have any turboprops at the moment, but that's what we have to decide. Whereabouts we're going to fly and what we're going to fly with and what's the cheapest. Let's see a map. We can bring up a map now. It takes a few moments to come up, and this is basically where my flights are at the moment. So there's Mexico, and we've gone down to Cancun, across to Miami, JFK, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Monterey, and Tijuana, and Los Angeles. That's a big demand, Tijuana. Really got to get that one up and running, get more flights on that particular route. Again, we can have a look at what's going on, and obviously if you're going long haul, it's going to show all over the place. There's a really good forum. You can get in, you can have a look at all the different games. People are talking about different games. A lot of people help each other. A lot of people, you can form alliances. Did I say that? Go back to the game area. You can actually form alliances and join alliances. China Express founded an airline in Peking, and the ones just went bankrupt. Declared bankrupt in Istanbul. You probably find this guy's closed his and started again just to experiment. And aircraft news. These airlines have just ordered. These guys all ordered Boeing, and this guy's ordered some Airbus. And you can find out more info. Yeah, so really it's quite intensive. If I wanted to plan a route, I've got to find it. I am going to do one because I've worked out where I'm going to go. Everybody likes to gamble, so we are going to Las Vegas. I can't remember the name of the airport there. Is it can't remember how to spell. Is it Las or Los? Okay, we'll just click it up. McCarran, that's the one. So we looked at McCarran, 1300 miles, 200 people, 145. That's a pretty good route. I don't have an aircraft for it, but we'll just do it anyway. That's where we'll go. We'll get 138 people. Select the route. Check off what you've got. There's about 1700 kilos of freight, maximum potential 3000. She's looking doable. We'll accept it. Confirm it. You can also do technical stops along the way. You may need to refuel to make it to a location. So if I wanted to take my 7.3 to Heathrow, I'd have to put in a technical stop, or my 7.4, I'd have to put in a technical stop to refuel in, well, JFK or somewhere on the way. It won't make it one stop. Okay, confirm the routing, and then we decide whether we go every day. Select the fleet you want to fly. You can create separate routes every day, which means you've got flexibility to move them around. Decide what time you want to get out. Let's have a little look. 6:30 in the morning. You'll arrive 8:30 local time. Basically you've got a 4-hour flight, and I don't like anything turn around. 60 minutes. We'll be back at 15:20 in the afternoon. They're going to charge me $16,000 for the slots at Mexico, $51,000 in Las Vegas. So they charge us to land there for those particular slots. And those slots allocate the time that you can actually land and depart from an airport. So you just can't go to the airport, you need to have a slot. If there's no slots available, you can't get in. So for example, for the times I want to land there, or depart there are 13 slots available, and if I took one they would reduce to 12. If I went just the Mondays, then only the Monday would change, obviously. So that's pretty good. Let's see what happens if I sneak out last minute at night, say 10 o'clock. I will get there at midnight local. Yeah, if I had a long flight, that'd be okay. Let's go 6:30 in the morning again. Keep everybody happy. Okay, 60-minute turnaround, and I can set my prices now and decide how much freight I want to carry, or let the computer do it. I can block out passengers, I can block out cargo, so I can get further range. Yeah, so there's so much to do, and then I would accept it. I don't have an aircraft for it. I don't want to pay $67,000 because I'm already down the tube anyway. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back to the finances, see how we're going. It's now Friday, and I'm now down 182,000. Lost $1 million. Oh, and taxes. Where you decide to build your little airport operation, is subject to taxes. Some places will charge you 40% tax. So you make $1 million profit, they're going to take 40%. So even deciding where to actually set up your base, you have to do a little bit of research. Mexico is going to charge me 29%. Some countries will charge you 40%, and some will charge less. I'm pretty sure Ireland's pretty cheap in reality as well. So yes, slowly. Don't know whether I'm going to make it or whether I'm going to be bankrupt. But that's the game. It's certainly a lot of thought. Nothing straightforward. It is easy to get in and get going. However, the manual is the best read before you even start. It is free for 7 days. After 7 days, they want you to have credit. And as I said, this game is 1 credit per week, which came out to 53 euros or something like no, 0.53 euros. So I don't know what a euro is. Yeah, it's a game and a business course, but it's both. It's a game for those that like this type of stuff. But yeah, it does both. It absolutely does both. A lot of patience. As I said, a lot of people who play this do this for a living, so they really need to get a life and get out of the out of the office. But to get it working, it's certainly complicated, and there's a lot of interaction for different things. So I reckon it's cool. Now, I'm going to look at some other ones a little bit later on. The other ones are good, as it's you actually simpler, very much simpler. Your biggest decisions really come around to whether to give them good quality food or junk food. Whether to charge them for newspapers, pillows, drinks. Still got to employ the staff, still got to run your airlines, still got to plan your routes and stuff like that. But it's nowhere near as complicated as this one. Nowhere near as demanding, and nowhere near as real life as this one. This one is fairly sophisticated. But that's what it's there for. That's why I'm having a look. That's why I'm showing you. Like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but for those that are interested, Airways Sim, that's one. And probably next week I'll have a look at Airline Empire, which is totally free. Free forever. I hope it stays free forever. And that one there is, yeah, just a different style of play. And then we'll look at another one which is different again. Again, free. Well, hopefully free. If not, I won't be looking at it. Okay, so thanks for your company. I'm going farming, and I got a whole pile of crops and potatoes to get off the fields in Farming Simulator 2017. My internet's not quite holding up. It's showing a little bit unstable at the moment, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. And thanks for your company. And if you want more on these type of games, like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Just let me know. And I do love playing around with these things. I should get a life, I suppose. Oh, I do. It's called playing games. Okay, thanks for your company, and I'll catch you later.